Hey everybody, this is Mike with EastIdahoNews.com. I'm here with Democratic candidate Kristin Collum for Lieutenant Governor. We're going to get to know her a little bit more. So, Kristin, would you mind telling me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I was born and raised in Great Falls, Montana, from a working class family. And after high school, I left and I joined the Army. I went in as enlisted, came out as an officer, went in with a high school degree, came out with a master's degree. And I served in NATO, worked in the Pentagon for General Colin Powell, and then led as a signal officer, platoon leader in the military. And so I've been here 21 years, raised my daughters, and I've worked in the tech sector for large international programs as a program manager for tech companies like Hewlett-Packard and Micron Technology.
And so what brought you to Idaho?
Oh, it was my job at Micron. And it was just that it's so close to Great Falls, Montana, that when I came here, I knew I was home. And I was lucky I got the job offer that was given, else that would have been awkward.
So this is a fairly historic election, with it being, no matter who wins, we'll have our first female lieutenant governor. Tell me about your thoughts on what made you decide to run in the first place.
Oh. Well, this year is so filled with many women and many first-time candidates. And it's that same inspiration that got me. I'm a woman, but I'm also a veteran, and I've seen the rip in our fabric of our communities and our nation. And it's that need to pull together for the better of the country and for communities and people. And so it's that I stood up and said, I want to be part of the solution. And also, I'm a mother of 4 daughters. And so we want strong women leaders. And I have that leadership in other sectors, be it military or technology, and it all transfers right over into politics.
And so you're running as a Democrat in a very red state.
Sure.
Tell me what that's like.
Well, it's part of getting over that and reaching out to people of all kinds and saying, look, I'm a moderate. In fact, when I first came here to Idaho, I was Republican leaning, and I identified very strongly with my military background with the Republican Party. But since then, the Republican Party has moved over, and I've stayed in. If you check in with your values, you might see that where we stand on family issues, where we stand on healthcare and education is where I've always been. And in some ways, I've felt left out by the Republican Party, but I've found a home with the Democratic Party.
Okay. And so you mentioned earlier that this election is a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
And with that, we have to talk about Representative Paulette Jordan and her run. Tell me about your relationship with her.
Well, as you know, before the primary, we said that we were a joint ticket. It's not really a thing in Idaho, but we were coming out strongly as 2 women running for the same goals. Since then, she's really taken off nationally and really been doing her own campaign. We're completely separate campaigns. We have completely separate staffs. And actually, in the last few months, she's been so busy nationally that there has been no communication between us. And I thought we were going to be doing things together starting the beginning of September, and it just never panned out. So I'm doing my thing, and I'm going for it.
Okay, great. And earlier you were telling me that you've been living in Boise for years now.
Yeah.
What's it like being over on this side of the state?
Oh, I absolutely love it. And actually, when I come here, I always think back to Great Falls, Montana, because it's very close by. And these towns are the same size as Great Falls when I was growing up, and very agricultural feeling. And I always joke, it's right down to the wind speed. It's so much in common, so I really feel like I'm home.
Good. So one of the big issues everybody's been talking about recently is horse racing.
Yeah.
And Idaho's Proposition 1 to legalize these horse racing machines. Tell me about your thoughts on that.
Well, first and foremost, I always listen to the voters and what they vote, but my personal vote is probably going to be no. I feel like it's been pushed hard by outsiders with lots of money, wanting certain things, but my heart goes out for the horse racing professionals and raisers that would benefit from this and have historically been involved in it for a long time. I care about those, but I just worry about the outcomes that could happen. So I'm voting no, but if it gets passed by the voters, I'd totally stand up for the voters.
Do you feel like this is something you could reach across the aisle on and work with Republicans? It seems like this is it's got proponents and opposition from both sides. Tell me a bit about your thoughts on that.
Oh, any topic has commonalities for both sides. So I don't care what it is. There's probably 85% that we all agree on together, and there's just those few things that differ. So there's always, my whole platform is how much we can get done and work together on, even if we don't quite agree on everything.
Okay. Another one that is very similar and it has opposition and support on both sides is marijuana legalization. It seems like more and more states, even including Utah, are legalizing marijuana even if it's for medical use. Tell me about your thoughts on that subject overall.
Yeah, so cannabis, I would say I'm fine with a few things. I think it would be really good to have medical marijuana, CBD oil, and hemp for agricultural growth. And those things I think we should move forward on. There's been enough proof and data in that those things are beneficial and they would help us. Anything beyond that, I think the people of Idaho would need to bring it to bear. So like was done with Medicaid expansion or the horse races, it needs to come up for a popular vote and see where people stand. I just don't know if we have the support yet.
Okay. What, if elected, are some of your major goals?
Oh, okay. So I am a veteran. I was in the Army for 12 years, and I resonate strongly across the state with all my veterans and their families. So that is a particularly a dear issue to me. And so I would hope to advocate for all the veteran services that we have and help connect veterans to the services that are there for them. There are veterans that need a lot of help, whether they're homeless or suffering PTSD. Just the list goes on, and I want to make sure that they're all connecting. Also, I'm being the only lieutenant governor or governor candidate that has a military background. I would be able to serve the governor or help them because they're commander-in-chief of the Idaho National Guard. So that's one service that I would love to provide. The other one is cybersecurity. So I come from the tech sector. I have an IT background, and our data, we've already had several hackings of the state sites, and we've found some vulnerabilities. My team, my campaign team, has found vulnerabilities on the state sites that we've reported, and yet a couple weeks later, they're still not corrected. So I would like to help shed some light, get some really good practices, and help really galvanize the program that we have for cybersecurity to protect all of our personal and private data that needs to stay that way.
What is one thing you want the voters to know about you that sets you apart from your opponent?
I would say I'm just one thing, darn it. I would say that I'm a collaborator and I represent everyone, not just the 3%, but everyone. And it's really this time of unity that we have to focus on. It's the positive and the unification of our communities and people that we need to focus on. So we need someone who can be rational and calm, be a thinker, and can pull both parties and all the people together and do what's right for Idaho.
Okay. Well, Kristin, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us, and hope to see you in the future, and best of luck.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.